Welcome back everyone to turn 45 of Let's Play Dominions 4 and then 7-person free-for-all series. Today I am joined by I Seen You Before. Anything interesting happening with you? I guess you just restarted your series, right? A new series on Dominions 4?
Yeah, I started kicking back up the channels. Gonna be covering some Dominions 4 and diversifying a bit the genres of game I'm playing. But yeah, that's all I've been up to. Finally got some time to upload.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
turn 45, things are slowly progressing towards the climactic end. In this turn, we have, I guess this turn is really, there's not a whole lot to say except for one huge main event. And I'm not talking about Vanheim claiming the Throne of Splendor, although it did happen. But we'll go through these things and then we'll get into some battles here. And one of these battles is, well, it's like the most important battle that's happened in a couple of turns, and it really defines one of the nation's outcomes. So, without teasing it anymore, okay, so we're casting Buying Ogres, yes, Summoned Lions, these are awesome, glad to have them. Naiad Warriors this time, again, the second time I've got it correct after getting it wrong the first time. We have another Bishop Fish, we have some Ghosts, and now let's get to the battles. Might Marsh, this is Agartha's main army pushing, just continuing to push south, and I'll let you narrate this one.
Sure. So Agartha's army is made of magma children that we've been saying he's been summoning, a bunch of shard gods, and also statues. Now the funny thing about statues is that they're highly resistant to a lot of magical damage, elemental, as well as slashing and piercing weapons. So at this point, if Sam was there, he'd probably suggest use blunt weapons from Elm, which is a good idea since they don't have any resistance to it, so that's one way to get through the high protection of those units. Otherwise, he does have a pretty considerable army. I think Iron Dots would be able to do quite some damage to this if Elm can mobilize himself.
Okay. Yeah, they have a big army. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Ulm right now, because they have a huge army which is basically just defending the throne, and maybe that's all he's trying to do. I would love to see those two forces clash, though, just purely for the sake of seeing two big forces fight another big battle. So,
for entertainment.
Yeah, so this is the end result of that. They lost one magma child, and Ulm lost a bunch, but they didn't lose their priest-miss, they just lost some of their infantry, so it's not like a huge loss, but the province is lost. Other than that, we have Cern. I don't remember if this is a battle worth, I don't think this is just Vanheim sending a probing unit, who then flees right away.
Oh, did Elm attack us?
I'll show you what it's just because I invaded their territory to kill Vanheim, and they reconquered it.
Oh.
I'll show you in a second. Okay, so in Whirling Seas, I think this is the same thing. Yeah, they just, oh, our forces defeated the attacking. Yeah, they just sent another scout, so these are both scouts.
Okay.
Then our undefended province in Satala has been conquered. If you remember, you might not. I'll go to it. So, I invaded in Summerlands and Satala.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was, Kiyunaga or Masakatsu, probably Masakatsu, was over here. We both attacked Satala last turn, and to kill off the last remaining Vanheim force here, and my guy actually conquered it. He defeated the Ulm forces.
Oh wow!
So I moved him back, and I told them without any province defense that he could just move in and take it. And the same thing with Summerlands. I have one province defense, so he'll easily be able to retake that.
Isn't Summerland ours?
No, technically my border is shade. I mean, I don't know if I told him he can retake it. It doesn't matter. I'm giving him money anyways, so this is just a more direct way of giving him money by letting him have this, and it doesn't really have any consequence on the remaining turns. So if he stays there, if he takes it, it doesn't matter.
Could be right next to a throne, though.
Yeah, but Ulm is my closest ally. I'm not worried about him. He's got his own concerns.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Vanheim and Agartha attacking him, so I'm pretty sure that he needs our alliance more at this point, even than we need his.
That's true.
So I'm not concerned. Okay, let's get back to the messages. We have, so that's Satala. Vanheim is actually coming in with it's just a single unit, I think. I'm not even sure this battle's worth showing, but we'll do it anyway. At least it's a fight. So Ulm has kind of a lot of things, but Vanheim has a single Vanir.
Did we equip the Vanir?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Okay, you did a good job. That's a tough thug. To be able to do what we did with our Shuras.
Yeah, and he does. I don't even think he took battle damage. No, he didn't. So. So he invaded in with that, and he conquered the province. Then the battle in Vanheim against Man, and this is the big battle because Man had brought basically their entire force. Vanheim, out of nowhere, attacked with their entire force. So I'll let you commentate.
Okay, so this battle seems to be... Man has flaming arrows with his longbows, that's actually a good thing, but unfortunately I think the archers are focusing a bunch of trash units, so his main core of ice trolls and everything is gonna survive. He does have some vine ogres, and the Knights of Avalon have just charged on their own. I think he should have buffed them a tiny bit. Probably could have expanded their survivability. I don't know. I don't have any issues pronouncing this today.
Yeah, you're good.
But the Thunder Strikes is gonna just poke holes into the Knights of Avalon because there's no decoy units, so most of the damage is being taken by the damage dealers of Man, which is usually gonna result in something not too good. Otherwise, Vanheim is doing a great job Thunder Striking, getting his water elementals ready, and I think Man doesn't really have much of a chance, even though he does have flaming arrows.
Yeah, it's
I
also...
don't think it's hitting the right things.
It's also fun to notice that I think this is the first time in this game where one pretender has actually faced off against another. So we have
in a battle.
Yeah, in a battle. So this is actually Das Tactic with his army versus Waitstar and his, well, Fafnir, I guess is Waitstar's name. So
as you can see, the elementals are just ouch. That's one way to describe it.
Yeah, it's so much, man.
That's a respectable army from Vanheim, but one other thing to think of is that he used quite a lot of magical gems to summon that main units. Since we already took most of his lands, we don't know how many he has left. We just know we cut his magical gem resource, so in a way that's good, because he probably needs to go back to the lab, resupply everything, and logistically he won't be able to pull that every time, because that's quite a lot of air gems and water gems being used. So I don't think Vanheim will be straight on the move. He'll probably try to select a weaker opponent. You can put it on triple speed.
Yeah, that must be set now. I guess it's already over. I will slow it down a little for the end because this is it's a pretty big moment without spoiling it. But yeah, obviously it's just like a cascade now, right? It's all over already.
My idea is that Das Tactic could also have scripted sleep clouds, thunder strikes from his mages. They would have had a good effect on Vanheim's fatigue. Yeah. I'll have used more Vine Ogres to block them off and use the sleep clouds, since the Vine Ogres will be immune to the sleep clouds. And that's how Das Tactic dies here.
Well, spoilers alert, right? That's what I'm waiting for. He's taking a few hits.
Yeah, he's surrounded.
He's down to one hit.
And
there he is. He's dead. That's it. That's it for Das Tactic. He's dead, and there's no He's not immortal. He wasn't on his own dominion anyway.
And the siege was broken.
So the net result for this is Vanheim really took really minor losses.
Yeah, he just dodged a bunch of militias, flagellants, archers.
Yeah.
Nothing significant.
Yeah. So, I mean, although it's 122, it's really mostly a third of that is militia. And, you know, a lot of that flagellants are just chaff anyways. It's just very weak units.
Did a great job, though. He did a great job. That was enough chaff for him to use his thunder strikes.
Mm-hmm. On the other hand, man is left with only a token force of longbowmen and somebody else, right?
Three
wise men. That's right. So they were just crushed.
Yeah, and also, I guess the army size was twice of man's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I believe if man had a bit more vine augurs, since they usually drown in nature gems, he could have built somewhat of a front line. The Logrian wise men can be used as buffers and people who cause magma eruption if you give them enough gems simply.
Mm-hmm.
So they can be leveraged up to some extent if you give commanders gems to move around, right? Otherwise, for national buffs, he could have brought enough to cost aim together with his flaming arrows. So he did a good move bringing his god to cost flaming arrows. That's definitely needed as middle-aged man. But I just think he needed a bit more front force, and you know, next time just get the spearman to act as a decoy for the thunder strikes, because you can't really stop thunder strikes. So your best bet is to just throw a bunch of trash units so that the enemy falls unconscious by the time the trash units die or have routed, right?
Right.
So your main force of Knights of Avalon are safe, because those are really valuable cap-only unit.
Yeah.
Losing them is not something you want to do, because they have something that's great. It's called recuperation, which means if they get injured, diseased, whatever, just let them be for a while and they'll just cure themselves. And if you hold on to them, a lot of people tell me I kind of, it's a bad idea, but I really like playing middle-aged man. It's like you try to hold on to those knights as long as you can, and you get an elite strike force by the end of the game.
Yeah, they're really expensive units, especially in terms of upkeep. My goodness, but
yeah. But you know, man taking production free, he must have been producing them since the start of a round. But you shouldn't, you know, spearmen. Yes, they're not great, but that's the whole point. You just use them to be a tank, like soak damage.
Well, yes. I just really think this is funny. I didn't really pay attention to this earlier, but you have the mother of Avalon. In some way, you could say the Tiwaz of War, Dastatic, is the father of Avalon, and even the daughter of Avalon, all dying in the same battle. The whole family of Avalon is dead, and I think that really just speaks to the state of man after this battle.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is...
It's one of my favorite nations, and those spellcasters, they can have a few tricks in their pockets. Yeah. But
so we'll go back to this in a second and talk more about Vanheim and Man, because I think the rest of this episode is mainly, that's the big change. Spoiler alert, that's the biggest news we have is this whole, how this battle has redefined the playing field. But another pretty big one was this one at Feasiborn. And while the battle itself is not as interesting, the result is, I mean, what it means. I don't think I've even seen this battle yet, but I don't know if there's anything. I don't think there's much interesting to say, but go ahead.
Well, we just conquered the front from Vanheim. That's great.
Yeah, they killed these units. There's not much to say. This is mostly province defense, maybe?
Yeah, that's mostly province defense.
So it kind of shows you that this province defense is not terribly useful.
Nope.
Because that's what we're going to be trying to do now that we own it, is also trying to defend it. So there's also a battle in Griffin Spires. I think that Ulm took back Griffin Spires. Remember that Vanheim just right this turn. What the heck? Oh. No, Ulm was apparently just scouting it. What?
I don't know.
I don't even know what happened. Oh, they killed the commander.
Hmm.
It looks like he didn't have any backup commanders. Can I watch that again? I didn't see what happened, but it looks like they just immediately, like their commander just immediately died. Oh, yeah. Where's his commander?
Right there.
Yep, okay. So that's what happened with flying units.
Dead.
Okay, well, watch out for flying units. We'll also have to watch out for that going up against Vanheim.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so that is interesting. That means that... How many thrones? I mean, Vanheim's not... I don't have any threat of them ascending because they've lost a lot of thrones, but 1, 2. So they only have 3 points. And the Throne of Splendor... Wait, who didn't... At the beginning of this turn, the Throne of Splendor was claimed in the name of Fafnir. Why is this throne Olm's? What happened? Can you explain what happened here?
I have no clue myself. It looks like Vanheim's has routed or something.
Even though it said the forces of Olm were out, right?
Press V. Can you right click on there and press V, the letter V? No, okay, never mind.
I did,
just
but
press Q. Press Q. Sometimes 2 battles happen and it tells you when you press V, but nothing this time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's really weird. And Felden Force is now in Vanheim control, which makes me think that that's where his forces went. I have no idea. I really have no idea. Well, anyways, we'll just leave that. Hopefully somebody else, Vanheim or Ulm, will be able to explain that eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now let's talk about this situation with Vanheim and Man. So Vanheim has retaken, like, their capital is no longer siege, which means they're going to be able to take income from it. And they have a pretty sizable force here. Man, I guess we're in agreement that they're just basically dead. They're out of the game. They had a very weak start, starting in the Wastelands, and they were pinned in by Agartha and Vanheim right away. So, very, very difficult start, but there's not really much more to say. They lost their main army, and I think they picked the right horse between us and Vanheim, but they really wanted the capital, I think. So he went full on for it, and Vanheim just, we, obviously, Shinuyama, we took a lot. One sec. Oh, sorry, we had to put a quick cut in the video there. And I actually lost Iceni before in the process, but I'm just going to finish the video up. So anyways, I was saying that I think that Man has bet on the right nation, and that they went very greedy for the capital of Vanheim. And I think that this is kind of in response to how things went down with Asphodel, that maybe they have some regrets they weren't able to get to the capital of Asphodel. And we did our best, I was saying, to take land, a lot of land, in order to do... We were just doing as much as we could to slow Vanheim down, because I still consider Vanheim a big threat, and we can see, rightfully so, that they, even though they're fighting a three-front war, because they are still involved against Ulm, although, the funny thing is, Ulm hasn't really done anything to them. But they've been fighting this three-front war. You can kind of see how good it was that we did this war. It's kind of more and more justifying itself that they are actually able to take on Man single-handedly. I know Man was not in a good spot and everything, but this is really Man's first big conflict. They had one conflict against Asphodel, but that was a weakened Asphodel. And we had already taken out so much of Vanheim's territory. And the reason why I didn't even push further than this was because this is all, according to the agreement, the treaty we had, Man's territory. I mean, even the Forest of Gun and the Emerald, all this stuff is actually agreed upon for Man to have, not for me. So the fact that Vanheim is able to come back at them and crush them like that is a little disheartening. I feel bad because Das Tactic, he's put a lot of heart into this game. Like, this is just a personal remark. You kind of wish that the people who put the most time and effort into this game, and I think certainly you have to say Das is one of the most. I mean, I haven't seen anybody else's videos, so from that perspective, I don't know. Maybe his videos, I think that they're long. I'm not sure. I don't think I've actually seen the video length, but just from the inner dialogue between the different people involved in this, I know that Das said he's been doing the comic stuff and he's doing like Patreon stuff. All these, it just leads me to believe that Das has invested a lot of time into this series, and the fact that he's just hasn't been doing well, I feel, is really unfortunate because his efforts are not being rewarded in accordance with his, like, he's not getting results out of the game in accordance with his efforts, which is unfortunate. I mean, this is, life isn't fair, that whole speech, but okay. Now, what I want to say about that is that basically, okay, I've lost my train of thought certainly from the first part of the video, but just the fact that this is the elimination of man. They have this one army, which I've kind of pointed out here, which is still remaining, but it's just some longbowmen, Knights of Avalon. Those are good units, but at this point in the game, you see how important casters are becoming. Now, let's transition quickly to what we're doing this turn. We are putting into full effect our claiming of the thrones with the bishop fish, using the shambler gear. So, one is going to claim this turn, another one is going to claim this turn. So we will have 2 thrones which we will claim this coming turn. On top of that, we now are in control of a Feasible, and furthermore, we are sieging Enaeumral, which is the last throne we need to win the game. So the plan is coming together. The big question mark now, first of all, let me just, well, I guess it makes sense to talk about Vanheim because we're reacting to Vanheim's options. So Vanheim's options here now are this. They could sail across and retake a Feasible. Even for this very reason, I decided to rehire the Reavers of the Deep, not in a Feasible itself, but in this 113 is here. Sea of Karassos. And the Feasible is 125. That's where we're hiring if we're so lucky as to get God's... I mean, God's Justice is not like a great band of mercenaries or anything, but if we're able to get them, I think the mercenary acquisition phase happens after the battle phase. So what could happen is that Vanheim could sail to a Feasible, eliminate our army there, and then the mercenaries, we obviously don't... Excuse me. We don't claim them because we no longer own the province we're trying to recruit them in. So that's why I put the... our trusty fish, Ichthid friends, I put them in the Reavers of the Deep, in Sea of Karassos, just because I think it's less likely that they invade Sea of Karassos than a Feasible. Okay, now, if Vanaheim doesn't sail across here, if they don't even target a Feasible at all, the other way that they could stifle a victory is by going to Enaeumral. Which is like kind of the reason. I mean, if they look at our forces, if they look at our like the disposition of our forces, they might even be able to sense that I feel this is a weakness. We finally actually this turn have, and I think it shows here, Solian has been breached. So we're going to invade this turn because I don't suspect that there's anything left there to defend against our remaining forces. So we just have our... just Kappas. They're not going to survive very long, but hopefully the Shuras will be able to carry the day. So we're going to invade Solian and hopefully take that fortress, and then that whole army is going to move to Cern, you know, assuming it's successful. Now, everything else, even the main sieging body from Cern, is leaving towards Enaeumral, and I know that that's already been explained in previous turns, but even this turn, we finally have the last of the forces moving out. These won't get there until turn 50, so it's a little bit, it might be almost too late. But if there's a battle on turn 50, they will they will be able to help. And we have lions, we have just some other forces. Even Masatsura, his force is almost more because of strength, just getting some basic units for sieging capability than anything else. So, I mean, this is, if we don't take this throne and claim it, we don't win the game. So that's just the state of things. Same with the Feasible, but the reason why I'm devoting all my forces to heading north, by the way, we will be invading Man. I haven't even sent him the diplomatic message yet, and it's less than 24 hours for the turn to be processed. So I'm going to send him a diplomatic message saying, man, we're going to try to help against Vanheim, but in order to do so, we're going to invade through Holoma and Rasenna. And by all means, feel free to take those back from us the moment we are done invading. I don't care about these provinces in truth, but I don't even know if man will have the capability of retaking them. It doesn't matter to me. They have a reasonable income, I'm sure, but it's just not important because income is no longer important because I can't do anything with my income. I can't affect the battles with my income from this period forward. So that's why we're actually going to send him 300 gold, and we'll send to Ulm our traditional little compensation. Not much we can offer, and less as the days go on. Anyway, so all we can do is attempt to recruit units here if we want. We don't have the resources here to do like serious recruitment, and militia just aren't really worth it. And that's what we'll be doing. So I think we recruited some units here. We're recruiting some Bakemono show. These are just in the event of a siege. They will help prevent Scythia from falling, hopefully a little bit faster. That's under the odd chance that Airmore does not patrol this turn, which is quite possible. As I said, I think Sabaus is not always processing his turns. If he doesn't patrol, he won't catch our forces. That will be a wonderful battle for next turn, and certainly that's something to look forward to in the next... well, I don't know. I assume this is a standalone video, so that'll be something to look forward to in the next video. But I'm not sure what will happen. We'll see. If that fight happens, it will definitely be the event of the next turn. Even if Vanheim sails to a Feasiborg, we know that that's kind of like a... that's a gimme. We saw that Feasiborg's defense was overwhelmed by just my silly Reavers of the Deep. So if Vanheim moves his whole forces there, of course, they will easily overcome our forces. We don't have any hope of success. Even though we'll do our best. We're moving in Shinichi, and he'll probably die if he moves in, but do we even want... I guess we'll keep the scout. We'll have him retreat, that's fine. But let's move you to the back a little bit more. Magma Eruption will be our spell of choice now. And I just highly doubt it'll make much of a difference, but it could. Now, the reason why we're moving our forces here is because then 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. So we will coincide. These forces will arrive in Feasiborg the same time that our main Tortuga-san army will arrive there. And that's what I had in plan. As long as we've taken the possibility of them building a fort away, which we now have, I don't have to worry about Feasiborg being retaken because we will have another chance at retaking it with my main army. And that even seems like the most fitting thing for a Fafnir versus Tortuga-san showdown in Feasiborg to end the game. That would be wonderful. I don't think it'll happen, and you know, I'm not going to be naive to think it would be the Vanheim main contingent, which was already lost in their own bid for the thrones, but it would be something fun, I think, a very dramatic, climactic moment. So I don't think there's much more to say. We're basically just moving every force we have north from the main area of Shinuyama, with the only exception being Kennen is moving south out to Feasiborg. Our main army should be engaging in Ivermark against Airmore next turn, or in the coming month. We'll be invading this castle, and the big question, the two questions, I guess there's two. One, this is not as much of a question in-game as it is kind of out-of-game. Will Sabaus patrol his forces? Will he engage us? Because I already talked to him about it. I told him, I'm trying to be honest in diplomacy, even against Airmore. So I told him we're invading, and it would be kind of a fun thing for us to fight him, even though it would weaken us against a possible showdown with Vanheim. So that's one question is, does Airmore end up attacking? Do we end up getting that battle, which I am suspecting we will? The alternative, the bigger question I should say, is Vanheim. What do they do? Do they sail to Feasiborg, or do they move to Enaemerald? I kind of prefer them to move to Feasiborg, and I don't know what they'll do, but if they move to Enaemerald, we probably can't win the game, so which will be very unfortunate. I mean, it'll be a hell of a battle with our Shuras. It looks like we'll have 1, 2. We'll have one other unit. We'll have a sizable force. We will have all this, this, and I think we're even gonna, we're recruiting here some more, just some chaff for a possible battle of Vanheim. If nothing else, they'll be used to help break the siege, but probably we assume that they'll go to the front and act as chaff. And that's all we want. This, like, this is just buying time for our other main forces to come up. Because we claim the throne, we move here. We use the flying carpet 1, 2, 3 to move there on the next turn. So we're ready to claim the next throne. Basically, if Vanheim doesn't interfere, as soon as this NAM roll is conquered, is breached and then conquered. So, well, that's going to do it. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. This will be interesting. And we'll have I Seen You Before back for the next episode, I think. And this is exciting. I cannot wait. In fact, if Airmore doesn't engage, I'll be pretty upset because it would make for a really fun video. But that's what we have to look forward to. We'll see what happens. And until the next one, thanks for watching and take care.